Okay, so um, we are on part 3 of this tips for getting started in the medical field video. Um, Number 12 is what we are on now out of 20. So, number 12 is to learn time management skills and always strive to arrive early. So, my thing is, if you're early, you're on time. If you're not early, you're late. And the only reason this is because I have worked in many different facilities where people come in hours late, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then they leave at the same time as people who came on time. And I've never understood that. Like, I kind of get it if it's a nursing student. I get that a lot of facilities, especially long term care, are a little bit more flexible with them. Like, say they have class that lasts until 7 and their shift starts at 6 or at 7. They give them a little bit of extra time to actually make it to work. Um, but what I do is I try to get to work at least a half hour to 45 minutes early just to make sure that I have enough time to like collect my thoughts and relax in my car before I go and clock in to start my workday. It allows me time to not feel rushed, not have to rush to get into the building, not have to rush to the time clock. I try to give myself enough time so that, I have enough time to do what I need to do. I also like it takes a little bit of time to develop a routine at facilities, but I do end up developing routines so that, I'm able to keep myself kind of on track of where I am throughout my shift, whether that is, getting my rounds done at a certain time or knowing that, once I do a round, then I do this, like whether it's cleaning wheelchairs or whatever the case may be, whatever job you're working in. I create a routine for myself. And, time management is definitely something that is needed in the healthcare industry because healthcare is so unpredictable. Like, even in a nursing home, even on night shift, where it's a little bit slower than day shift, you never know what's going to happen. Like, things could be completely calm and, going very smoothly 1 second, and then the next second you have somebody who is unresponsive and, you're doing CPR. So, whatever the case may be, please be on time if you are somebody who is working. Like I said, obviously nursing students, they tend to give a little bit more flexibility to because they realize that, sometimes they have class. But, try not to be late if you don't have a good reason. Um, Number 13 is remember, you have to earn respect. Nobody is going to give you like respect right off the bat, especially on your first day, because they don't know you. They don't know what kind of work you do. They don't know the quality of work that you provide. Don't start your first day at a new job by acting like you are better than everybody else. Don't have an attitude. Just come in, be like a sponge, like accept the information. Even if somebody does something different from how you do it, just accept the information and be a sponge. Learn everything and be humble and, be kind. Take note of people's advice and their feedback, especially as a new employee. Um, a lot of nurses have given me very, very helpful feedback and tips throughout the 5 years that I've been a CNA. And, I don't know where I would be without some of their advice on how to get things done more efficiently. Like when I was a CNA, first starting out, I never thought about like getting somebody dressed while they're on the toilet in the morning and how much quicker you can be at your job when you do like little changes like that. Um, so I would say just listen to people who have been there for years, especially the CNAs. If you're a CNA or a nurse, this goes for you. Those CNAs who have worked in the field for 20, 30, sometimes even 40 years, take their advice. They know what they're talking about. They would not have lasted this long if they didn't. Take their advice, listen to what they say, even if there's something that you don't agree with, apply what they do, the advice, apply it to your routine. Especially if you feel like you aren't getting things done fast enough, apply their advice. It helps. Please do. Number 14 is walk, don't run. Um, it's important to take your time, especially when you're new, because you don't want to be rushing through something and end up hurting someone or making a mistake that you can't come back from. Like, for example, if you are passing meds, don't rush through because you could end up, looking at the wrong person or, looking at the wrong label, giving somebody the wrong medication because you're rushing. Give yourself enough time to get things done so that you aren't making those really stupid mistakes. Also, as a new CNA, if you are in a resident's room, don't rush them through the task, whether that's taking a shower, changing them, getting them dressed. Take your time with them because they know that you're busy, but sometimes, just taking your time and, talking to them, having a short little conversation. Obviously, don't be in there for 45 minutes if all you needed to do was, change them. But sometimes you could make the biggest difference just by talking to somebody, and later on, it lets them know that they can rely on you, they can trust you, and they don't feel like you're just going to come in and, rush everything and be rough with them. Because I've had people, residents, tell me that they love when I would be working because, you know, um, I took my time and I would have a conversation while I was um, in the room with them. Number 15 is learn from mistakes. Um, your employer will tolerate your mistake, but not when you have been corrected and they've given you the learning and you continue to make the same mistakes. Everybody's human, mistakes happen. Again, when you're rushing, the mistakes tend to happen more frequently. But when you make a mistake, if somebody gives you advice or they give you education and correction, make sure that you put that into your brain. Remember it. And the next time that you're in that same or similar situation, make sure that you think about that. And, especially when you're first getting started, that's when the mistakes tend to happen, you know, but the mistakes that you make, you learn from those. And like I said, when you're first getting started, you don't really know, you know, it's brand new to you. So don't be hard on yourself because you're making mistakes either. Mistakes give you an opportunity to learn new skills, new tips, new tricks, and just learn from them. Don't continue making the same mistakes because then, obviously your employer is going to get mad. But, you know, if you learn from your mistakes and you don't continuously repeat the same mistake over and over and over again, it'll be better off in the end. Number 16 is remember the grass isn't always greener, especially in healthcare. I have worked at multiple different facilities and they're basically all the same. They all are short staffed. They all have their issues. They all have their workers, whether it's nurses or CNAs, doctors, techs, etc., where they are very rude. Don't make rash decisions without weighing your options first. Some days can be extremely stressful, other days can be very smooth, and you know, the healthcare industry is one of the industries where you get to make the most difference with your clients or customers on a large scale. You could be the difference between somebody living or dying. And, um, if you are somebody who wants to impact other people's lives, the medical field is definitely for you. Sometimes it takes a little bit for you to get into the swing of things, to create your routine, to get started with certain things, and to develop, your confidence as a healthcare worker. So you have to make sure that you are giving yourself enough time to do that, because it's not going to be easy at first. Number 17 is be a team player. That is so true in the healthcare industry. People need help. You can't always just rely on one person to do things. Like I said, people have bad days, they get stressed, and healthcare is definitely a very stressful career field. But if you are willing to help out your team members, your coworkers, you will get so much farther, because on that day when you are drowning and you have 14 call lights going off and you are working with that coworker that you helped in the past, they are so much more likely to jump in and help you and like pull you up. Um, so I always try to help out my team members, my coworkers, and whatever. Number 18 is be thankful. Um, Especially with, like I was just saying, if you have a coworker who you're drowning, they notice, they come over and they try to help you, please let them know that you appreciate what they do. A lot of people, like especially in the medical field, you don't get the appreciation that you feel like you deserve, especially from patients, because they're not in the right headspace with everything going on in their own personal lives to thank you for, everything that you do for them. And, when you thank your coworker and you let them know how much you appreciate their help, especially on those crazy bad days, it helps build your interpersonal relationships so much better, and it starts your career off on the right foot because you know that you can rely on your coworkers, and your coworkers are, like I said, much more happy to help you when they receive the appreciation. Number 19 is never apologize for doing your job. Um, this could be, in the nursing home. Some people are just mean and nasty no matter what you do. Don't let these people make you feel like you've done something you shouldn't have done when you know for a fact that it was something you needed to do and you are well aware that what you were doing was the right thing to do. And last but not least, the last tip is pursue knowledge and learn new skills. I've talked about this throughout these tips. The medical field is constantly changing. There's always something new, some new research. Make sure that you're learning. Just because you finished your program, you finished your training, it doesn't mean that there's not new information to learn, because there's constantly new information, new techniques, new research, new technology. And for example, there are certain certifications and licensing where you have to do a certain number of continuing education credits or units in order to keep your certification. For example, my phlebotomy, which I just recertified a couple months ago, back in March. It's May as I'm recording this. I had to do 10 hours of continuing education credits, and they don't really limit you on what you can use. Um, but it is dependent on like what your licensing body. So for the NHA, you can go on their website and do their continuing education, and you can just pick whatever topic you're interested in learning more about. Like I think I did a couple on EKG, medication administration, giving injections, things like that. And it just makes sure that you are on top of doing some research and that you don't fall behind. And with the medical field, you're constantly needing to learn new skills. And, even if you just read an article once a day or once a week, you can apply the information from the new research article throughout your career. Um, so, yeah. I hope that these tips were helpful now that we are, part 3 into it. Hopefully you guys didn't mind this little series of videos. I wasn't anticipating it taking 3 videos to talk about these tips, but I hope you found them helpful. If you guys are enjoying the healthcare related videos that I have been posting lately, please let me know, because it helps me to know what you guys like to watch, and it helps me when I'm preparing topics for future videos, because I do make a list and keep track of kind of what to talk about upcoming on my channel. So I kind of just, I put things in a list and I just move through that list and record videos based on the topics that are on my list. So I hope you found these helpful. If there's any topics you'd like to learn more about, please let me know, and I will do my best to get something filmed for you, and I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.